All right, get ready for a story that sounds like it was ripped straight from a movie script, but I promise you, it's 100% real. We're diving into a case out of Shanghai that is just, wow, it's a masterclass in manipulation, a tangled legal mess, and a web of lies so wild you won't believe how it all came crashing down.
So, right off the bat, you've got to be asking yourself, can one woman actually have three husbands at the same time? I mean, legally? The answer is, well, it's complicated. And that question is exactly what's at the heart of this unbelievable story about a woman named Lin Huanhuan.
You know, most stories about marriage, they start at a wedding, right? Or maybe with a romantic proposal. Well, this one doesn't. This story begins at a police station. Just picture this, Shanghai, 2024. Two different men walk into a police station, both there for the same reason, to report their wife missing. And as they start giving the details, it slowly dawns on them. They're describing the exact same woman. So these two guys, their names were Zhao Xin and Li Wenlong. They'd never met. Each one shows up totally worried sick about his wife, this Lin Huanhuan. But as they're standing there talking to the police, the horrible truth just hits them. They're not just two concerned husbands, they're two men caught in the same insane scam. And here's the real kicker. They weren't even the whole story. Turns out there was a third husband, the only one she was actually legally married to. Okay, so how on earth did she manage to pull this off? I mean, three husbands? To really get what happened in that police station, we've got to rewind. We need to go back and untangle this massive, complicated web of lies that she spent years building. So, check out this timeline. It all kicks off way back in 2017. She legally marries husband number one, a guy named Cheng Wei. Apparently, it was more of a marriage of convenience. Okay. Then, fast forward to 2021, she meets husband number two, Zhao Xin. By 2022, they're having a whole wedding ceremony. But wait, it gets crazier. While she's still with Zhao Xin, in 2023, she starts up a third relationship with husband number three, Li Wenlong. And yep, you guessed it, by 2024, they have a wedding ceremony too. So let's be clear. She was juggling two completely fraudulent marriages, all while being legally married to someone else the entire time. And this wasn't just random chaos. Oh no, this was a finely tuned operation. Let's look at how she scammed both men. With husband number two, Zhao Xing, the big lie was a faked pregnancy. She literally used someone else's medical report she found online. And when he asked why they couldn't legally register the marriage, she had the perfect excuse. She claimed she was a discredited person on China's social credit system, so the government wouldn't let her. Okay, now for husband number three, Li Wenlong. She just hit everything else. She never registered the marriage, took an 88,000 yuan dowry, and got him to rent a fancy villa for them to live in. It's just incredible. Two different guys, two different provinces, but basically the same playbook. Now, you might be thinking, what about her parents? Surely these guys wanted to meet the parents, right? Oh, she had that covered. The answer? She hired actors. For just 3,000 yuan, she literally hired a fake mom and dad to meet each guy. And get this, she hired different actors for each husband to make sure her stories never crossed. I mean, the sheer audacity, the level of planning, it's just mind-blowing. So after all that meticulous planning, what finally brought this whole house of cards down? You'd think it would be something huge, right? Nope. It was the tiny little details. For one husband, Li Wenlong, he was watching a video and heard the voice of the guy who was supposed to be his father-in-law. And he realized, wait a minute, that's not the voice of the man I met in person. For the other husband, Zhao Xin, the red flag went up when she, after promising him they had a baby boy, finally brought a child home to meet him. And it was a little girl. It was these small, almost clumsy mistakes that were the threads that, when pulled, made the entire thing unravel. Okay, so this is where the story takes a really important turn. It's easy to get caught up in the shocking drama of it all, but we need to talk about the law. Because what Lin Huanhuan did wasn't just some messy affair or a moral failing. It was a serious crime. So let's break down the legal side of this. When you look at the legal definition of fraud, her case is like a textbook example. It really boils down to three things. One, did she intentionally deceive them? Yes, she hid her real marriage. Two, did she create a false belief? Absolutely, she made them think they were her husband. And three, did that false belief cause them to give her money or property? You bet it did. It checks every single box for criminal fraud. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Legal experts are all over this. Professor Zhang Weike from a major law school in China put it perfectly. He said this is a classic case of fraud. She faked things like pregnancy and concealed her marriage for one reason, to illegally get her hands on their money. This wasn't about a love triangle, this was a calculated financial crime, plain and simple. But here's what might be the most shocking part of the whole legal angle. According to reports, Lin Huanhuan herself didn't even think she was committing a crime. She thought it was just, an extramarital affair, just a moral problem. That disconnect is huge. On one hand, you have her belief that this is a personal mess, and on the other, you have the reality. The law sees her as a criminal who committed serious offenses against marriage and property laws. All right, so this story is obviously wild. It's a jaw-dropper, but it's also a huge cautionary tale. And there are some really practical lessons here for all of us, especially now, in an age where anyone can fake an entire life online. So the big question is, how do you avoid a scam like this?
Well, lawyers who looked at this case have some pretty clear three-step advice. Step 1 is simple. Verify their marital status. Don't just take their word for it, and definitely don't accept any weird excuses. You need to see the official registration documents before making any huge commitments. Step 2. Be super, super wary of large payouts. We're talking dowries, big money transfers, anything like that before you are legally and officially married. And finally, step 3. You've got to investigate their background. Go beyond what they tell you. Meet their real family, not actors. Meet their friends. See them in their own environment.
And really, that brings us to the biggest takeaway here. Lin Huanhuan's story is an extreme, almost unbelievable example, but it points to a much bigger question that we all face today. In this age of perfectly curated online lives, when someone can literally hire fake parents for an afternoon, how can we ever truly know who to trust? It's something to think about for sure.